me introduce those guests at the moment first, and then we'll take it forward as to exactly what could have happened in this investigation. I'm joined by Group Captain Aurobindo Handa. He's former Director General, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. By Wing Commander Sharad Panikar. He's flown Boeing 787s for years at Air India. Vandana Singh is Chairperson Aviation Cargo. Thank you all very much for joining us, all three of you, on the show today. Let's go question by question, and then we can get a sense of what perhaps was the reason by the unanswered question. Fuel switch movement, deliberate, inadvertent, or electrical fault? This is now becoming the critical element. Why don't you start, Captain Panikar, because you're the one who's flown 787s. What's your sense given this report?
Okay, let's review the facts that are available to us at this point in time. The report says that the fuel control switches have transitioned from run to cutoff.
Yes.
And this has happened within a period of 1 second. Now, I've flown the aircraft for 10 years. I have a lot of experience on type. And I can tell you with a certain degree of authority that it is very, very difficult to reach for a switch. First, visualize the situation in the cockpit. The rotation has just happened. The pilot flying is looking out, concentrating on his takeoff. The pilot monitoring is also looking out, looking at other factors, momentarily glancing inside. Now, within 3 seconds of that liftoff, somebody has to take his eyes off from the situation outside, look within, identify a switch, move it, lift it up, and move it to the cutoff position. Thereafterwards, he has to move his hand to the other switch, identify it, lift it up. It's a spring-loaded switch, remember. Pick it up, and then move it to a cutoff position. And do this entire procedure within a period of 1 second. Physically, I would say that's near impossible. Second thing.
But the report says so, right? The report says within 3 seconds of takeoff, the fuel switch was cut off.
Yes. But the...
Could it have been disengaged by, could it have been a malfunctioning switch, or does it require, as Captain Ranganathan suggested, human intervention?
In my opinion, a human intervention was not there at all.
Was not there?
No. In my opinion, the timing of the DFTR, which says that the switches have transitioned from a run to a cutoff within a period of 1 second, is more indicative of an electrical signal, something that you can have for both the engines, just a signal going.
So you're saying an electrical failure more likely, Captain?
I would say you have to examine other factors as well, as to what are the other various things that are involved.
But you're ruling out human intervention in the moving of the switch?
I would say it's extremely, extremely unlikely.
Okay. Group Captain Aurobindo Handa, your view on that, on the fuel switch transition?
Jai Hind, everybody. To cut it short, I would like to agree with what the Wing Commander Panikar has said. Human intervention over a period of 1 second, cutting off both the fuel supply cocks is nearly impossible. So we have to, the investigators, let us allow them to work. Let them, they will certainly, if we sitting here we can suggest that this is what should be done, this is what should be done. So honestly, the investigators they will also look at all the scenarios. So let us not discuss. This because another round of speculation has started.
Sir, the problem, if I may say so, is because of the nature of the report. The report, because it focuses on this particular so-called conversation in the cockpit, it has led to speculation. Should we have been either provided the entire transcript without this selective 2 lines?
Rajdeep, let me tell you one thing. I'll take 1 minute. Legally, as per our aircraft accident investigation rules, India is a sovereign country and we are not supposed to publish any report. I am doing it on your channel. It is a part of Annex 13. But Annex 13 is not, it is not mandatory that I copy everything. And our worthy predecessors who made this AIB rules, they have not incorporated that thing. But however, the top leadership in civil aviation and the country's leadership, they thought it wise because they were seized of the situation. So they thought it wise to come out with some information. Now people have started doing another round of speculation on that. Okay,
No, but you're,
I'll finish
you're
at this
therefore,
level. Should you
no, are
want a
you
legal
saying
position?
that, are you saying therefore, Captain,
we can
are
have
you
a
saying
next
the
round.
report should have never been made public at this stage?
No. As per the rules, please listen to me. This is the legal position. As per the rules, suppose I do it, and there is no concurrence of my bosses, they will tell me under what authority you have published that report. Please understand, this is the other way around also. So I would request all the gurus who are on the channels to read AIB rules as of today, and don't speculate. So the country, the leadership has been very thoughtful of the grieving families, that they have come out with this report. Now everyone wants that this report should have been written like this. This report, A says it should be written like what I feel. B says it should have been written like this. Now I'll cut it short. I'll come down to that line on which Captain Mohan Ranganathan has made a story. I take that thing that the pilot says I didn't. I would give credence to that fact. That when the pilot, when his co-pilot checks up with let's not say PF or PM, when one pilot checks up with the other, have you done this? He says, no, I haven't done it. So I would like to go with that he hasn't done it. It means there was a signal which has gone to the FedEx system. So let us work, let the investigators work on that. And by the way, they have not given clean chit to anything. Neither to the engine, neither.
I've listened to you, sir. I've got your point. Vandana, you want to respond? Do you believe, as is being suggested?
1 minute, because...
Sir, just a minute. Captain, let me get one more voice in.
Because
the fact is that there are those who are saying that the nature of this report is bound to lead to speculation. The number of people who've died, this is a global story. How can you avoid the speculation if the report comes out in this very partial manner, ma'am?
Rajdeep,
absolutely.
1 minute, sir, I'm coming back to you.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. I totally agree with you over here that the manner in which the report has come out is very ambiguous. It's very sketchy, and therefore it raises all these concerns. And the concerns are that why is there just one pilot talking to other? There are just two sentences out there. Where is the entire, conversation?
Right.
What is the essence of the report? There is nothing there. We are seeing more questions coming out of it than answers. Agreed, it is a preliminary report, but then why take it out in this manner when nothing is coming out of it?
Okay.
When people there will be speculations from this. Obviously, there will be speculations. There will be angst from the pilots, because I do believe that this is also not human error. I also believe that this is a FedEx mandated miscommand, electrical software glitch, but it could be a factor that could be considered.
Okay. Let me therefore come to the second question. Were fuel switch locks on the aircraft checked for proper engagement? Captain Panikar, you want to respond to that? I mean, there is this question which because of that 2018 report in the United States, which raised questions about the nature of Boeing 787s and Boeing flights in general, and whether a disengagement was possible. The 2018 Special Airworthiness Information Bulletin issued by the US Federal Administration spoke about the potential disengagement of the fuel control switch locking feature. And Air India did not carry out the non-mandatory inspections on it. Is that a factor?
Okay, let's examine again the facts. First is that Boeing, who is the original equipment manufacturer, as well as the FAA, have both examined the situation. They may have found some issue with some fuel control switches, and they've issued an awareness directive. It was non-mandatory, and it was agreed to by the regulatory authorities in the US.
And they've also clarified today that it does not affect the airworthiness of the plane.
Yes. But as a matter of abundant caution, I believe now the DGCA has issued a directive for all the operators, primarily the Boeing aircraft using this particular type of switches. That would be the 737, the MAX, the 757, which I think Blue Dart is operating, as well as the 787 to carry out checks and see if everything is okay. Now, we must keep in mind that the directive was only advisory in nature.
Okay.
And I'm sure that if it was mandatory, there was no option for Air India but to carry out the full checks and record it as such.
Is that Group Captain Aurobindo Handa, according to you as a former director, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, one of the fallouts of this, that all fuel switches will now have to be mandatorily checked in your view?
Rajdeep, I'll tell you about my Air Force experience. In Air Force, we do not take any chance on ejection seat and aero engines. So in 2018, when this bulletin had come, at that point of time, I have been repeating that their DGCA and the officers there, they should have called the chief pilots of all the airlines operating this aircraft and told them, and along with the officers in FSD, there are some 70 officers in FSD, in DGCA, they should have put their minds together, applied themselves, and come out with a solution whether it is to be done. And I'm telling you, if I were the DGCA at that point of time, I would have made it mandatory, because it was for the, in case there is any inadvertent frame out in air. So I wouldn't have taken a chance. Anyway, people can always say that everyone is wise in hindsight. So let's not go back in time. So let's be wiser for future. So if the DGCA has come out today with some checks, let us do it with right earnest, and let's move forward and wait for the investigation report to come. Yes.
So the full
Thank you very much.
investigation report, of course, will probably take a year. But Vandana Singh, do you believe in hindsight, many of these things, there is one impression that Boeing and Air India need to also be held more accountable in the manner that today the focus is entirely on the pilots, not on the airline, as well as, today the Air India CEO has come out and said that there is no evidence of any mechanical failure, we cannot be blamed. Boeing is also giving the impression that they are a hands-off approach. Does that get a sense that both Air India and Boeing are getting away without the final report being available yet?
Exactly, and that's what we are all seeing. Where are the stakeholders? Where is Air India's voice? Why are they not talking about what were they sleeping for the last 7 years? When the advisory came out in 2018, advisory also came out for a certain purpose. It didn't just come out just like that. So wasn't the advisory to be taken a little bit seriously? Weren't they to look at those switches? What about Boeing? What about Honeywell? What about the other stakeholders?
Now that we've lost.
What about the other stakeholders?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Let me turn to the next unanswered question. Why is there no comprehensive flight data recorder info? You want to go for that, Wing Commander Panikkar? Why is there no comprehensive flight data recorder? Should that entire cockpit video recorder voice recorder have been made available?
See, what the AIIB report has come out with is only a preliminary report. I would agree with Group Captain Handa that they have to just present facts. What this particular report has done is that it has lent itself to a certain degree of ambiguity because of the way in which the report has been worded. Like, for example, I will take a minute to just elaborate upon this. If you just take that one statement of this questioning, if I, as a pilot, am asking the other pilot, did you put that switch off? What does it mean? It means that I haven't put it off. I'm asking you. And you, who's flying, let's say, says, no, I've not put it off. So what is the normal logical interpretation of this? That neither of us have touched that switch. That's number one. Number two, whenever we look at time frame, it would have been useful, it would have been more, lent itself to clarity if this particular report had explained that at this particular point in time, this happened, this was the article, this was the switch position. At this particular time, this is what happened, this was the switch position, this is the clarity. And just for information, an aircraft engine relighting would imply that that switch, in whatever position it may have been, for the relight to take place, that particular switch is definitely in the run position. If that switch is in the off position, you can never have a relight. Let us be very clear on that. And the second aspect to it is, we have a cockpit voice recorder, which is very, very sensitive. It picks up even the slightest amount of noise. If we were to examine this cockpit voice recorder very carefully, enhance maybe the audio part of it, there is a definitive click which happens. I'm not sure if you can make it out with the ambient noise in the cockpit. About the switch being lifted, it's a slightly metallic click that comes when you pick it up, you move it, and you rest it back from run to cutoff. Perhaps this is another aspect that can be looked at. My main point out here is that take the timing of this transitioning between run and cutoff, that 1 second. It is more indicative of an electrical signal. For example, when the switch, my fuel control switch, is moved from cutoff to idle, there are several micro switches that are made contact with, which send signals to various aircraft systems. One of which, like Vandana has just covered, would be the FADEC. Again, the software, different spar valves, different fuel control valves. There is a spar valve, there's a fuel control valve, all of which make contact once a switch is moved into that run position.
Okay.
We have to examine these aspects as well. It is very convenient to say that, oh, it's a pilot. Everybody walks off after that, pilot errored. That old saying that dead men tell no tales. Extremely unfair, extremely premature. Let's find out as to what happened, how it happened, when it happened, and then pass judgment.
My final question then to you, Vandana, should a pilot be part of the investigation? Many believe, as you may have heard Captain Thomas also of the Pilots Association saying, we are the ones who fly the planes, we should be part of the investigation.
100%, Rajdeep. I do believe that the pilot should be a part of the investigation. And as we speak, and as I know, and what I've heard, currently there is no 787-8 pilot sitting out there who is qualified and who can actually speak. So yes, they should be a part of investigation. Having said that, I also believe that having the pilots from our armed forces, the Indian Air Force, is equally important. They should also be there. And here we have a captain here, Captain Panikkar, who's also from the Indian Air Force, as well as a 787-8 pilot. So it's okay to have the best of brains in there, and right now they are not there.
Okay.
So over to you.
Okay. Thank you both very much. Vandana, Wing Commander Panikkar, Group Captain Handa. I think the reason why we chose to focus on this today is because I think we wanted some clarity. There are lots of questions swirling around. We've avoided all the speculation that's been built around. But I believe it is important that the questions raised by this report are answered by those who have the expertise to do so. Needless speculation is unfair to the families, the individuals. It is irresponsible, and therefore, hopefully, someone out there will ensure greater clarity above all else. To all my guests, thank you very much for joining me on this very important and sensitive subject.